agreed on that. And in speaking of first-time home buyers, now, having had a little bit more of your background, knowing that you're like this genius innovator that created this business and sold it in less than 10 years. I mean, catch it, okay? Listen, if you're watching.
I never thought about that. You're right.
Yeah, but I did.
Okay.
And, you
Yeah.
and this is winning mindset. So we salute you. Oh, well, hello there, Flawless family. It is I, Tierra Walker Holloway, back again with another episode of Flawless Living Made Simple with your host, me. Now, tonight I am very happily joined by a colleague of mine that has been making strides in and throughout the Hampton Roads community in all of the state of Virginia and this East Coast for years. A very well-known colleague, president of Virginia Housing and Community Development Corporation, Mr. James Taylor. Now, you know the point of this show is to interview those that I admire from near and far about their winning mindsets. So hello, Mr. Taylor.
Hello, Miss Holloway Walker. How are you?
I am good. I'm very good. And I'm so
good. I got that backwards. Walker Holloway. My apologies.
Hey,
yeah.
Look. One of them. Just
yeah. See, I normally just call you Tierra, so you got me being formal here tonight. You know, I'm trying to be official, as they say, right?
Well, that's all right. That's all right. We are atmosphere, and I'm sure our viewers, as they get to know you more, will see that totally. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So let's just jump right into it. So Mr. Taylor, I met you first at a NAREB meeting, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I'm a proud member. And I met you there, and you were talking about your programs. And when we initially spoke about it, the programs were so powerful that I actually was I was surprised that I'd heard the name VHCDC, but I'd never come in contact with you or other people that spoke of the organization, just about some of the things that they were doing. And it was shocking to know that not only was this a nonprofit that's been in existence for over a decade, nearly 2 decades at this point, but then also was a Black founded foundation as well. So what inspired you to form and create the Virginia Housing and Community Development Corporation?
Well, it actually started as a continuation of the Norfolk Portsmouth Empowerment Zone. Back in the early 2000s, I had the pleasure of working with the cities of Norfolk and Portsmouth to help improve business opportunities and help the existing businesses that were in these census tracts to take advantage of tax credits. I had worked very closely with a number of small minority-owned businesses, particularly entrepreneurs wanting to start a business, and helping them with capital and credit and business opportunities and marketing, and basically helping them to write business plans, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And so, I worked in that arena for a while, and then when the program did not get funded and subsequently ended up closing, I had just started VHCDC so that I can continue, working with these people and working in that community.
Okay.
And so that was a passion of mine, because I had retired from my own company, where I used to sell office furniture over the internet. And so when I retired from that company and basically had nothing to do, that was my way of remaining active, because retirees have to have something to do. We just can't stop working and that's it, right?
Right.
And so that's what kept me active, and that's what basically doing what I love to do, which is helping people. And so ultimately the organization, we started in 2004, and we over the years we've kind of revised and revamped and pivoted from doing one thing to another, to now we're involved pretty deeply in the housing arena. And so that's been our focus since 2014, if I recall, when we started doing the housing services. And we've been growing and expanding and just keep improving upon what we're doing. Every time we see an area where we need to sharpen our pencils, so to speak. Then, we get in and we make some changes and some improvements there, all for the benefit of making sure that we get people from A to Z.
Right. No, that's for sure. And viewers, if this is not your first time watching this show, then I am elated, because one of the reasons I do this show is to find out and dig into the things that people try to skip over real quick. We're not going to do that tonight, Taylor. So
okay.
You said, I love this show. You said that you retired from selling furniture over the internet.
Yeah.
How many years did you do that?
I started in 1995, 1996, something like that.
Wow.
I had started my own company in 1994.
Okay.
And then, I kind of got tired of doing things the hard way. And so I figured out that, hey, wait a minute, I can sell office furniture over the internet. I don't have to have a store and all of this. And so I created an online catalog and ultimately launched that catalog. It was in 96 when I launched the catalog.
Okay.
And so I started selling office furniture, home office furniture, not the regular office furniture, but home office furniture, like the setup you have there now.
Right.
I started selling that over the internet, so people can go online, pick out what they wanted, and I would have it shipped directly from the manufacturer to their home.
Okay.
And then I grew that into, we had a service where we can actually sell you office furniture and then have a company, not only deliver it, but come in and set it up. And so I was selling this furniture online via the internet. I started to get a lot of orders around, I think it was October of 96 or September of 96.
Wow.
And then the catalog grew, because I was constantly adding manufacturers and products and whatnot. But it ultimately grew to where I was selling furniture not only in Virginia and the region, I was selling, all across the country. And then I started selling in different countries. And so, this took off and worked out very well.
Wow.
And I was one of 3 or 4 companies that was actually selling products over the internet and making money up until about 1998, 1999, when, Amazon entered the fray, and a number of other companies came online and started selling products. And many of them were not profitable until the early 2000s. But so now you look at where it is now. I retired from my company. I sold it in 1999, 2000, I think, is when we closed on the transaction, and it enabled me to retire from that.
See, and you know what? That, folks, is a winning mindset. See, this is what this show is about. This show is about trying to figure out what brought you to this moment, right? Interview people that I admire near and far. So you figure that there's got to be something that intrigues others of what it is that you offer for the community, whether it be, we've had so many great guests from what they do in service, just like this organization in service, right? I see lots of people that, your algorithm feeds you the energy you give it. So I see lots of people that do things where they've retired and now they're able to give in service in such an amazing way. However, to have even innovated to the point in 1994 to consider and bring to fruition an online catalog, that is my generation. So no, this is not office furniture here. I have vintage DIY furniture because I'm a DIY.
Oh, okay.
However, had my dad and mother, they may have been, people that purchased from your catalog unknowingly, right? Because that was the generation in which I was growing up. So many older people that now, like, we worked from home, that were working from home or had home office setups, probably were purchasing furniture from you, and you're just over there banking on it just behind the computer 30 years ago.
Well, you know what?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because when I started, one of the things that I was hearing from a lot of sources was that, the seniors and the elders, they don't buy or use credit cards on the internet. They don't buy things over the internet.
Right.
And the reality is that that was the majority of my customers.
Mm-hmm.
They were, people that were 40, 50 plus.
Mm-hmm.
They had a home office that they wanted to set up a formal home office. And so they would buy the desk and the filing cabinets and the chairs and all of that.
Right.
And I mean, they were spending, I think at that time, the average was like maybe $1,500,
Right.
for a complete office setup,
Right. And I
So,
remember those computer rolling those little things, the things you put under the desk, because most of my mother's friends had some sort of home office setup. It's one of
the mobile printer stands.
Yep, but the computer. It's like a plastic runner that you put on underneath your office chair. And
yeah.
All that noise, it would make all the noise, and it would always be fun to go in their offices and roll around on their chairs and stuff. But a lot of her friends, she was in education. My mom was a teacher, so a lot of her friends had some sort of home office setup when I was growing up, right? Because that's where they check papers or did, those different types of things, their husbands or whatever. So that's really, really dope. And like I said, just to have that was innovative at that time. My dad, he had a similar something online that he was starting around that time. He passed. However, that at that time in 1994, anytime in that early to mid 90s, where the internet was really growing and becoming a place of commerce, for you to have thought of that was just so smooth and smart. That is dope. That is
I was actually like I said, I was one of, I think it was 4 or 5 companies that was selling, or started selling stuff on the internet. So it was, and I was the only one selling furniture,
right?
But there were a number of companies. I remember one guy that, I attended a conference, a banking conference, because we were trying to get the banks to recognize e-commerce, that people would actually buy things and use their credit card over the internet. And basically that was something that the banking industry was not prepared for. They had no idea how to process payments over the internet. And so I remember attending a conference, and I was part of a panel. We were actually telling them what the issues were, what the demands are, and some of the things that they can do to make that happen. And so, because at that point, remember, this is during a time frame where, you couldn't put your credit card number in a form over the internet. You couldn't do that. But like I said, it was, I guess we were quite a bit before our time. A lot of changes happened very, very quickly, particularly as the banks came around and merchant services became available. I think it was probably in the late 1990s, 99, 90, 98, something like that.
Okay.
They really took off in 2000. But like I said, it was a fun time. I mean, there was no guidebooks, no rules, no template to go by. We were just pretty much, creating things on the fly. But I had a lot of fun doing that. A lot of fun. But I did what I wanted to do. I accomplished my goal, and I said, okay, well, things that are happening now are more geared towards they're trying to, take people out of the internet, kill e-commerce, because they didn't consider us to be a legitimate business working from home. I work from home. I didn't have an office space.
Right.
And I've been working from home now for well over 30, 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I refuse to go back to an office. I'm not going to go back to an office space when I don't have to do it. But but that's another thing, is that people working from home, and then I'm going to shut up. People work from home. When I started working from home was in 1994, 93, 94, when I started the business. And I've been working from home ever since. But in the 90s and also in the early 2000s, we were considered legitimate businesses.
So when did they make that? When did they make that shift? And you don't have to stop talking. This is your interview. We want to hear what you have to say.
I think the shift really occurred. I think the legitimacy factor, or that question about legitimacy, went out the window during COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really do.
That late?
I think it's that late. Yeah, because you got to remember, up until around that time, most employees worked from a physical office, a commercial office building, a retail space, or something like that. It was all brick and mortar.
Right. And
then when COVID occurred, it actually forced business owners and managers to think remote. You know, how can I perform the services or sell the products that I sell with my staff or my employees working remotely? And so now the remote worker now has some legitimacy, or the remote company, the virtual company as it's called, now has some legitimacy because now it's mainstream. Whereas before COVID, it was not mainstream.
No,
You couldn't,
absolutely.
you know, if you went to an employer and said, "Hey, I like to work from home," they kind of looked at you sideways, like, who are you? You special? No.
Right.
But now, a lot of them are pulling it back and saying we want more people to come back to the office, but still more companies than ever have virtual workers.
Right. No, that may absolutely be true. And I definitely 100% agree with you on the working in the office, corporate environment. I've had one, I guess, semi-corporate kind of job, free real estate. And the only other thing I've done is substitute teach. I substitute taught for a long time in the city of Norfolk, in the beginning of my career. And other than that, I've never been in a true, corporate beyond that first job in between college and real estate. I've never done it. And so the longer that I've done this has provided the opportunity for more autonomy and freedom.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine having to sit in one place for 8 hours, focused on one specific way in a specific seat and place, like a seat in place. Like, even if I could move around, the whole place may be different. If I had to sit in like one place, and I just admire people that love it, right? Because I think it's kind of dope that people can have jobs and enjoy, that experience and all of the benefits that it provides. It's just never been the life that I chose, but it's also been very risky. It's also been very risky.
Yeah.
So, when you don't have that designated seat, you got to make a table, you don't.
Yeah. Oh gosh, don't remind me, please. Wow. When I started my business, I had a 30 by 60 desk, and if you can imagine this, I lived in a townhome up in the Richmond area. I had a 30 by 60 desk.
Okay.
A filing cabinet, a printer stand behind me,
okay.
and all of this was nestled underneath the staircase going up to the second floor. Okay, that was my office. Okay,
right.
And so that was actually like a corner of the living room at the time.
Right.
So so I've grown from going from that little 30 by 60 desk to a nice L-shaped glass desk, and then I said, when I bought my home, when I bought the home out here in Suffolk, I was able to take one whole room.
Wow.
And I got the whole room down,
Oh no.
But really up until then, I had really worked out of very small spaces,
Right.
With the exception of the office I opened up in Hampton. And one time we had a showroom over in Hampton, and I regretted from day one opening that place up. Eventually closed it. I was able to close it when I sold the company, but I really did not want to open up that space, but the industry kind of forced me to do it. Right. Because a lot of the manufacturers didn't want to sell to
a virtual business.
So I said, okay, what the hell? I'll find an office space. A retail space, and lease it, and we'll just have it as like a showroom for select customers to come in and see, what they can order from the catalogs and all of that. But I didn't stock any furniture in that place. I just did it just to get through, meet their requirements. But like I said, in business, you do what you have to do.
Right.
And you're always thinking. You always have to be thinking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Now, pay attention to what's going on now, but my focus was always, where's this going? How can I get prepared for it? How can I get ahead of it? Okay. And where's the revenue going to come from? But I always look at service, and even with the nonprofit today, it's not about making money and all of that. For me, it's never been about making money in anything that I've ever done. It's about, how can I give the best service? How can I beat everybody or everyone or everything in delivering quality service? And so with that, the money comes. I learned that even in the nonprofit arena. You know, if you do something and you do it very, very well, the money will come.
Right. No, the money will come. The money will come. Hear that? The money will come. So just do it in service.
Yeah, anyone starting a business today or that's running a business today, if you stop thinking about, you know, the money and think about the service and the delivery of the service. One of the things I used to ask folks that are starting a business, I said, hey, tell me how you're going to serve the client. Tell me how you're going to serve your customer. And many of them had no idea what I was talking about. So I use this as an example, and maybe this will help you help your viewers, is to think about McDonald's, Burger King, Hardee's. I was going to say White Castle, but a lot of people don't know White Castle. Right. You know, think about those Arby's. You know, think about those companies and ask yourself the question: what is it that what do they do different?
Right.
And what do they do that's the same? The one thing you realize is they all operate the same way. They have different products, but they all operate the same way. There's virtually no difference in the way they operate. So the question is, how are you, as a business owner, as a business leader, entrepreneur, whatever, how are you going to serve your clients and become the best at what you do?
Right.
How do you differentiate yourself, your company?
Right.
Once you figure that formula out and you can improve and improve and improve and improve, you'll make money hand over fist.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Service is everything. And, you know, I always say, I think it was Zig Ziglar. I always credit it to him, but it is when you help other people get what they want, you will get what you want. And so that's kind of like, that's me synopsizing it, but that's pretty much how I look at it. So it's kind of like, I always look at service from the place of how can I help you get what you want, right? Because if you're coming to me in business, especially in my business, there's something you want from me too. You want me to help you with provide that service, connection, whatever it is. So it's almost like I look at my point of service because I like seeing people get what they want because I get what I want. So I like other people to get what they want. So if I can provide a resource for that, if I can help with that. So that's how I kind of like look at it. And I'm sure it's very similar thought, but that's how I look at it.
Well, you're talking about the end goal, right?
That's what I like. I like.
Right. But think about the process, though.
Okay.
Think about the process because you're in an industry that is changing, and this is the second time that I can recall, or maybe the third, the second time that I can recall the real estate industry undergoing a massive, let's say, growth. Okay. So you're what's the word? You're morphosizing or you're turning into something else.
Right.
I can't remember the word off the top of my head, but
I'm thinking transmuting because that's what it feels.
Yeah. You're going through a transition, right? And so, you know, go back to, remember I told you I started the business in '94 and went online and the internet in '95. It really launched the catalog in '96, and I remember one of the conversations I had with the real estate brokers in the area up in the Richmond market. I had a meeting with them, and matter of fact, I think it was like 30 or 40 real estate agents and brokers in the room. And we were talking about the internet. And I told them then, and I said, hey guys, I want you to understand something. I was telling them about e-commerce and the internet and all of that. And I said, I want you to understand something. Okay. This is in 1996. I said, your industry is about to undergo a massive change. You know that telephone book that you guys been carrying around that's called a multiple listing service? Okay, the print where all of the houses and stuff was for sale and it was all printed up. I think you guys got that like on a weekly or monthly basis or something like that.
Yep.
I said, y'all need to start investing in some laptops because that thing is about to disappear. Okay. And ultimately what happened was now every night you guys had to dial in to a service and download a catalog of all the latest, greatest houses for sale and all of that. Then it came to a time where it was online and you had to subscribe and you had your listings and everything. You would post it and it would appear on the internet instantly. And I warned them of that. I told them you need to get ready, start making the transition now, investing in the tools and the resources that you need to get that done. And
Right.
so many of them laughed at me. They said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, you're gonna see within the next couple of years as this internet thing, this e-commerce thing starts to explode, okay,
Right.
and more companies go online. If you are not equipped, you are going to be left behind."
Right.
Okay, and a number of those people had to start investing money really, really quick after after everything came out. They
Right.
weren't prepared.
Right.
So you're undergoing a change again. And
Mhm.
so we're going to get to a point here where I think that you're going to see some more changes in terms of technology
Mhm.
as the environment changes in this industry again. And
Mhm.
so I think about it from the perspective of the first time home buyer. Okay,
Absolutely.
I have to prepare our organization to not only keep pace with what you're doing, but also to get ahead of what you guys are doing in the real estate industry, so that we can keep the clients informed and knowledgeable about how they are to navigate this process.
Right.
And
Right.
so, as an organization, we're constantly upgrading our training, we're constantly upgrading our counseling, and we're also putting into place mechanisms to make sure that we don't want to follow the client, but we want to lead the client, kind of so to speak, to the promised land, if you will.
Right.
So
No, absolutely.
it's we have to be aware of the changes, not only in the rules and regulations and laws and all of that, but we also have to be aware of the process and
Mhm.
making sure that we know what we're doing and how we're going to do it better than anyone else when we're executing on the process of service.
Okay. I understand that. I
Hmm.
understand that 100%. I definitely agree. I definitely think that it is invaluable to know what you know.
Hmm.
And I think that, however, to me, is a part of the service. So it's almost like it's a disservice to your client for
Hmm.
you to be uninformed about the things in which they're seeking information.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like, because for me, the one thing that keeps me steady is constantly seeking information, right?
Hmm.
So with also always trying to like get more knowledge, gain more information, be as knowledgeable as possible. Um, as I learn new things, I push those things forward, right? And I feel like that is one of the keys to excellent service, is having the
Yes.
information about what service you're offering. So
Yes.
100% agreed on that. And in speaking of first time home buyers,
Hmm.
now having had a little bit more of your background, knowing that you're like this genius innovator that created this business and sold it in less than 10 years. I mean, catch it, okay? Listen, if you're
I
watching,
never thought about that. You're
yeah,
right.
but I
Okay.
did, and you need,
Yeah.
and this is winning mindset. So we want
Uh-huh.
to salute you, okay? We want to
Hmm.
salute you for being so humble in your achievements, because so many, and I'm thankful for you again. I'm going to say it again, for you to come on, because so many of these interviews that I've had so far, and I know it's going to continue, and I'm thankful for that,
Hmm.
is that I have guests like yourself that come on, that normally do not come on a talk show, or normally not on a vlog, pod, whatever we're calling this, okay?
Hmm.
And are normally not speaking of yourself, because so much of what success is to me is tied to service. And so many of the guests, and will continue to be, those that offer those range of benefits to their community and themselves. You don't even hear what you accomplish because you're living in it. And it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah.
However,
I get
let
you.
us just repeat again. I just want to repeat it, because we need the audience to hear and make sure that they didn't miss that you created a company,
Hmm.
pivoted to make it make sense for the bottom line and the industry changing by looking at the future of what was coming. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Created a catalog, put it online before online was cool, and you couldn't even process the cards. So you had to have some sort of trust system to get the stuff back and forth. Okay. And
Yeah.
I remember, because I grew up I am a 80s and 90s growing up. I was a teenager at that time. I graduated high school in 1996, and lots of my girlfriends, not me, lots of my girlfriends, they ordered all their clothes from like Spiegel and different catalogs.
Yeah.
You would have to mail your order with the check, right? So I remember, and it's crazy to me, kids today can't write checks, but we're not gonna get on that. So, so we're not gonna start that. Okay. However, so you start this business at a time where it's not even possible to truly process money on the internet.
Right.
Not only do you grow it interstate, you then go nationwide and then international and sell it and earn enough to retire. Wait, in less than a decade. If nobody has told you, that's genius. That's innovative. That's future forward. So thank you for sharing that story and letting people see what it looks like, because
I thank you for that. I thank you for that. But I never thought about myself. I've always operated on the premise that it's not about me.
Wow.
It isn't. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about the customer. It's about the client. It's about the service or delivery. It's not about me. If I take me out of the equation, then what's left? What is
none of the stuff that happened.
Right.
None of the stuff would have happened.
Well, if I take me out of the equation, what it boils down to is, what is the demand?
Got it.
What is the need?
Yes.
That needs to be fulfilled. So if I can think about the need and only the need,
right?
Okay, or the opportunity or whatever label you want to give it, it's not about me. It's about the service that or the product that needs to be delivered, that people want or need. And so if we think about things, if we spend more time thinking about that rather than ourselves, like I said, the rewards come.
Right, obviously.
The rewards will come.
Right.
So it's like with the nonprofit organization, and what we're doing with VHCDC. Yes. One of the things I remember when I first entered this foray of nonprofit organizations, it was mainly because I was working with the cities of Norfolk and Portsmouth. And when you can work or operate without a worry about where the dollars are coming from to do what you want to do, that's a great position to be in, right?
Yes.
But when you're working and you're trying to build an organization and you don't have the revenue, you have to start small and you have to work your way up. Right. But again, when you're focusing on the end product and the process by which you go through to deliver that product, people start to recognize what you're doing and they want to be a part of it.
Got it.
Right. So we never got the big grants. We don't get any real, any large grants. We don't have any federal contracts. I don't want them. Okay. Because too much damn paperwork comes with them.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, it's too much work for what you get.
Right.
Maybe later on down the road when I have, more staff, I might be able to put somebody in and have them handle just that part. But I'm not thinking about that now. I'm thinking about how I build an organization that can be self-sustaining, taking me out of the picture every day.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's my focus. Processes in place that guarantee or ensure, nothing's guaranteed, but ensure that what we're doing will sustain itself. Same way I would build a business. No different. The only difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is where the profits go.
Say that again. One more time.
Okay.
Say it one more time.
People who run nonprofit organizations need to understand this. The only difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is where the profits go.
Boom.
The profits are not going in my pocket. There is no owner of the nonprofit.
Right.
Okay. And so we have to stop thinking in the respect that, well, I'm a nonprofit. I'm a nonprofit. No, you're not. You're not a nonprofit. The organization is the nonprofit.
Okay.
And for those that are running around that are for-profit organizations or businesses that are constantly looking for grants,
right,
you need to understand there are no grants. Okay? There's credit, there's investors, there's all kinds of money, there's trade accounts and all of that. Okay, which is the same thing for nonprofits. I operate VHCDC as if it was a for-profit entity.
Got it. No, I mean that's a great business model. That's a great business model, and it keeps things lean and allows you to do more in service for the community.
Yes.
And I know that because I do the same. I think that it's best to keep things lean so that you can do as much as possible in the areas that are not cheap but lean.
And always ready to pivot.
Right, exactly.
You know, don't be so stuck on doing certain things or providing services and whatnot, because when the demand changes or the need changes, you have to be in a position to pivot or changing what you do and how you do it. And so that's, again, I'm using business principles essentially to run a nonprofit organization.
I mean, you were a business coach prior to opening VHCDC, so it's a natural progression. And previous to opening the first company, did you have training in that area? What did you do before that? Like, were you in corporate?
Before my company?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I was in the Air Force, actually.
Oh, okay. So all of this makes sense.
Yeah.
We just want the background because we want to know what goes into these winning mindsets.
Yeah. I was in the Air Force. Yeah. My last positions in the Air Force was I was a resource manager, so I managed the money for a number of departments.
Okay.
And I was a logistics specialist.
Okay.
So I was involved in inventory management and contracting and all of that stuff, you know. And one of the last projects that I managed was actually upgrading the furnishings at our military base.
Oh, goodness.
You know what? And so when I started, you see? So when I started my business selling office furniture over the internet, it was because there was a young man that I was friends with in a group that we had up in Richmond called the Entrepreneurs Alliance.
Okay.
And I remember having a conversation one day. We used to meet for breakfast, you know, once a week, and we would talk kind of like your BNI meetings, business networking, something, I forget what it stands for. Right. And we used to have these meetings and we would talk and, you know, share information, and, you know, we would pass, you know, around referrals and things like that. But I had a serious conversation with this dude one day. He was a computer, he ran a computer company.
Okay.
And so one day we got to talking about the internet. How we got on the topic, I have no idea, but we would just start talking about the internet, and myself and a couple of other business guys, you know, who had technology backgrounds. We were talking, and we started on this conversation about where the internet was going. I mean, you know, at that time, you know, you weren't really engaged at that time because you were so young, but you know, there was a time where we used to get these floppy disks in the mail from this company called AOL.
Oh no, I just talked to someone earlier about this. I went to Montessori.
Okay.
And 1983 or 84 was the first time I got on a computer. So I remember getting on, and we were little, you know, like five or six. Right. And so everybody had their like 3-4 minutes or whatever on the computer where you could go on and type your name, and it had the space bar, and it was all green, and it was just one big box.
Right.
All the way to now, this computer that we talk on, right?
Right.
I was my dad, and I will tell you something that's funny is that my dad, when computers were really getting to be, you know, more what people were using, 94, 95, right? My dad was stuck on not the typewriter, but what was the other thing that it was like a typewriter, but it was electric. And he was just like, no, this is the best thing. And he would not.
The IBM Selectric 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, it didn't have a screen. It was just like a typewriter, but electric. And it was just, you know, and I just remember, you know, that, but we always had no. I remember floppy disk. I remember dial-up. I remember all of that.
Right. And that's why I mentioned it too, because that we were actually talking about that, you know, the fact that, you know, we were saying that, you know, as technology progresses, you know, the AOL disc would come in the mail and you plug it into your computer and set it up and everything, and it would make this squealing sound. You had to have a modem. And so we were talking about, as technology improves, the speed would improve, because we went from like a 14.4 to 28.8, 33.6. It's 56K, 128K, and then boom, all of a sudden we're at internet speeds, where you're doing, 1 gig, what is it, 1 gigabyte now downloads. Well, we were talking about that, hey, this is where we think the industry is going to go. We said computer speeds will increase, storage capacity will increase, processing speed will increase. And so we were thinking about, the way we do things now and how this new device, a computer, could actually speed up how we do things. And now it creates more opportunities.
Right.
And so, and I'll give you an idea with VHCDC. Prior to COVID, we were doing first-time homebuyer classes around Hampton Roads. Well, COVID came about, and I said, well, wait a minute, I'm a home-based business guy, I'm a virtual guy, remote. So I was ecstatic when I can do first-time homebuyer classes like we're talking right now.
Right.
And you notice, no one's talking about the fact that, Zoom meetings increase, 1,000-fold. All of a sudden, everybody wants to meet, let's do a video conference, so Microsoft Teams and Zoom and all these other applications came about, and they just became more and more part of our daily routine.
Right.
Well, when we're doing first-time homebuyer classes, we can actually conduct a class and be interactive in the class. Why does someone have to go to a physical class unless they simply just can't get to a virtual class, or they prefer to be one-on-one? Okay, so we give them the option of doing that.
Right.
But, like I said, thinking ahead, we were ready. We were actually ecstatic when I'm not saying that COVID was a nice thing, but in a lot of respects, it did open the door for us to be able to do more things that we were originally designed for, what the organization was originally designed for, because we were never designed to do in-person classes and in-person counseling and all of that. That was a requirement from HUD.
Right.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So once the door opened to say, hey, virtual training is in season, and virtual counseling is in season. Hey, wonderful. Okay, let's do it. Here's the link. Click, go to the website. Let's talk. Right. And so we don't have to worry about somebody having, a computer or a laptop and all, because most people do.
Yes.
Right. The only problem is we have too many people trying to do things that they should be doing on a computer or a tablet or a laptop, that they're doing it on their phone.
Right.
And so, we have to make the adjustment for that. But but that's, where is it going? Where are we going with this? Eventually you're going to see more apps come out, which that's something we're working on now, where we have an app that would help people to get through this home buying process.
Wow.
It's again, just the type of organization and the type of leadership we have is that we want to be innovative, and we want to make sure that the process that we're teaching people is not only easy to absorb, but also easy to deploy.
Yes, no, I mean, that is awesome. That is really awesome. And we just appreciate, again, you sharing so much, because a lot of times our guests, they just are not used to talking about themselves. So I hope you made some discoveries in this conversation too. And let's now just talk a little bit about, we've talked a lot about VHCDC throughout the conversation. However, just to put forward some of the things that VHCDC is offering, and from your perspective, because in all, transparency, guys, I am the community housing advocate for Virginia Housing and Community Development Corporation. It is a volunteer position that I found online, and I said, this is for me, because it so greatly aligns with the things that our firm and myself resonate and intend for our community. And so to know, when I actually went online and saw the position and all that it entails and all that VHCDC encompasses in so many ways, was the reason that I sought out that volunteer position. And then just recently I attended the Sister Leaders awards banquet by a very admirable woman here in our area, Dr. Karen Pruden. There were,
I know her. Yeah.
Oh my God! So this
She's
was
something, isn't she?
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
I met her in Women Who Lead, and she's amazing. However, I went to their awards gala, volunteer awards gala on Saturday, and I know that I've now been working with VHCDC for a little over a month, maybe 2. However, that awards gala was for volunteers, and the biggest, the lady with the most volunteer hours had over 8,000 volunteer hours. And to hear these different women from all across the world, because our organization is an international organization, speaking of how they sow into their individual communities, it was just so inspiring. So I'm still so grateful to be aligned with something where I can put in some of my hours and help move forward your mission and goals. So just tell the viewers, you guys better like and subscribe, okay? Listen, we're almost there to 100. Come on, let's get to 100, you guys. Woo! Yay!
Come on.
Yes, like and subscribe. But tell us about the vision. Tell us a little bit more about the programs and some of the things that are launching currently and what you got coming up. Because all the information, as you know, guys, if you've been watching before, is going to be down in the description box. All of the information, the links, all the emails, everything will be below.
Well, to give you asking about my vision of the organization and what we're doing.
Yes.
So I will share with you and your viewers that what I'm building is what can be considered is a super CDC.
Okay.
A super community development corporation.
Okay.
And so when we founded VHCDC, the idea is that we wanted to focus on providing access to capital and resources for minority-owned small businesses. And so we've had to pivot somewhat because we finally have in Hampton Roads a very strong Black Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And so there's no need for us to be in that arena anymore because the focus for us now is on building wealth.
Yeah.
And so by building wealth, that means that we want to be able to finance minority-owned small businesses, and we want to be able to finance and individuals on the path to wealth building by helping them to become homeowners. So looking at the homeowner component, the wealth building through home ownership component, the question became, how can we really, underline the word 15 times, really help individuals become homeowners?
Right.
So the first time homebuyer class, as I said, we started doing that in 2014, I think it was, maybe 2013, but 2014 comes to mind. And I didn't feel that the training that we were offering was sufficient for our community,
okay,
for our people, our culture. I felt it was woefully inadequate. And I'm still convinced it is woefully inadequate based on what I've been seeing out there. So we were doing the first time homebuyer class, the Virginia Housing First Time Homebuyer class, and not taking anything from it. It just wasn't sufficient for us. And so we created our own curriculum.
Yes.
Okay. And then we realized that, hey, well, okay, the training is not enough. We need to now have a heart-to-heart conversation, an in-depth conversation with that prospective home buyer. We discovered that wasn't enough. We said, okay, we got to bring some down payment assistance and financing to the table.
Right.
So that's when we created this home ownership assistance program. And the home ownership assistance program basically takes a comprehensive approach to helping folks to become a home buyer. So we have the education, 15 hours of training, virtual training. We have the housing counseling. We have HUD certified housing counselors, and we have a process and tools that we use that are unique, if I may say that so myself, to helping people to see where they are financially and help us to develop a work plan to getting them to where they need to be to get a mortgage approval. Then we have 14 mortgage companies that we've teamed up with that are helping us in providing the pre-approval and the mortgage lending, and also the down payment assistance that's needed to buy that home.
Yeah.
But as I said, that's not enough. Okay. So now we've also identified other down payment assistance programs throughout the state, throughout the regions that we operate, because we're in Hampton Roads, Central Virginia, Northern Virginia, and Southside Virginia, working on, I want to be in every corner of the Commonwealth of Virginia by the year 2030.
All right.
Okay. So we've got these down payment assistance programs from the localities. We went after down payment and other types of financial assistance that would be administered by VHCDC. So now we brought on board the VITA program, which is the Virginia Individual Development Account program, that provides folks with a 10-to-1 match. You save $1, the program contributes $10, so it's a $10 to $1 match on your savings. So you get a maximum of $10,000 match funding.
So good.
We have money that allows us to buy down your interest rate on your mortgage. So if you get a 6% interest rate, we can buy it down to 5%. We just got confirmation today that we're going to be able to do a down payment assistance program up to $25,000. We're hoping we can do up to $25,000. Right now it's a minimum of $10,000, up to $10,000. We want to stretch that to up to $25,000. Right?
Still good.
Still good, right? But I want to do up to $25,000 because when I combine the $25,000 with the $10,000 from VITA and the other programs that are out there, we can potentially award anywhere between $40,000 and $50,000 in down payment assistance, because you can stack these programs, right?
Right, and that's one of the things. Stacking is the stackability of it is one of the great things that kind of helps when you're qualifying for those programs. Just think about the commitment that it takes. It's kind of like the time is going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times that's one of the biggest challenges for those of us in this business that want to help people to own. And it is them being able to consistently stay disciplined from the beginning of the process to see it through. That's why I always talk about it's the what versus the why. I just feel like, if we could somehow continuously just keep lifting up how important it is to be a homeowner and the benefits of home ownership, not only in the immediate but for the long term versus rentals. And we love rentals. We do property management, and at the same time, with the cost being so similar right now, with the interest rates back up, and then the cost of rentals having went up, the costs are very similar. It's not really anymore that you're going to save purchasing versus renting. You're really not. You can get comparatively the same house, and the only reason why you can comparatively get the same house is because those homeowners that are your landlord bought that house 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So their interest rate is not this interest rate, and they have equity. So the rental rate is based on what the market is asking for, and the home purchase price with the interest rate is very similar. However, where it makes sense for the short and long term is going through a program like VHCDC, or in your state, similar programs, or your country, similar programs, to get those grants, those housing benefits, right? Down payment assistance and all of that, so that then you're getting into the property for less you would have potentially needed to have to get there. And now you have some equity built in. You have some good long-term stability at the same payment. So there are a lot of great benefits to home ownership that you guys hear all the time. However, when you access these programs, the benefits are exponential because you're able to save so much on the upfront cost. And that's so much one of the greatest barriers to many people. Although the organization and our goal is to help our people, at the end of the day, any people that are low to moderate income, which is most Americans, right? The barrier to purchasing is always going to be that upfront money, that down payment, down payment. And financial education, understanding how to manage money, how, what the importance of your
your FICO scores or your credit scores, the importance of your debt to income ratio. Those things are very, very important.
Right.
And there's, like I said, there's a lot that we bring to the table because these are the things that we know exist in our community, and these are the topics, the discussions that we need to have.
Yes.
And one, a couple of things we inform clients is, number one, the longer you wait to buy a home, the more it's going to cost you.
Yep.
People were concerned about interest rates and all that. So forget about the interest rates. What you should be concerned about is the cost of the home, because the cost of the home, if you're waiting on the time that it takes for the interest rates to adjust and come down, the cost of the home has gone up dramatically.
Yep. Our area on average increases about 9% per year.
Yeah.
During COVID, we went up. Those 3 years, it was a 33% increase in housing.
And then look at the interest rate. So what was the cost of the money from that time frame to now? So, like I said, if you're waiting on the interest rates, you're waiting on the wrong thing. What you should be doing is putting yourself in a position to buy a home as soon as possible so that you can get in the home while the pricing is still within range, within your ability or your affordability. So we talk about that. We talk about, not spending money when you get your mortgage. No more credit, no new credit. Okay. We advise, and this is something that two things that you'll hear folks that attend our class that will say that they heard from me. Number one, stop spending. Stop spending. Okay. I say it probably 3 or 4 times per class, stop spending. And the other thing is that you want to invest in yourself. So one thing you can do, stop using Credit Karma. Stop spending on your credit cards. Get your balances down. You want to raise your FICO score, your credit score. Why are you paying someone to so-called fix your credit when the problem is you need to be fixed? Okay. So if you change your mindset. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's
I didn't mean that. Did I hit that hard? Okay.
No, I'm just saying, our viewers, listen.
Yeah.
Listen, we have these gems on every episode, okay? You up to about 40s now. I mean, I'm gonna have at least 4 good sound bites from this, because
it's true,
Why are you, catch this now, audience? He said, why are you trying to pay somebody to fix your credit when you need to be fixed?
Yeah.
You gotta tell them.
You need to be fixed, okay? I'll give you an example. We had a client. We had a client that was spending $149 a month to fix her credit. And I said, well, wait a minute, how long have you been doing this? She said, about a year now. I said, okay. And I looked at the amount of debt that she had. I said, do you realize you could have paid off your debt by now? With the money that you spent on this credit repair, you could have paid off this little $2,000-$3,000 in debt.
Right.
Okay. It could have been done. And then, we have, medical waivers or waiver of debt. Okay. That hospitals basically will waive your debt if you claim that you have a financial hardship. They don't know how to calculate student loan debt. We teaching them about that. We talk about investing. Okay. The last class, the last module that we have is talking about investing, some things that you can do to get more bang for your buck in terms of the amount of money you have. So if you've only got $50 or $100 a month to put in the bank to save, why not buy an I-bond? Okay. And get, I think it's like 4% interest right now. You can get about 4% interest. Why not buy some stocks like dividend and invest in a dividend reinvestment program? Okay, buy some Dominion Energy or Verizon or T-Mobile or whatever stocks, and instead of taking a dividend, reinvest what you were paid. So what we need, like I said, for our community, we need to be real about the problem and the solutions. Okay, and what we had out there just wasn't doing it. And so we took it even a step further than that. We said, okay, we helped you to get the down payment assistance. Now we have a pool of real estate professionals and other professionals that we can pull in to help you to get from I got mortgage approval and down payment assistance. Now let's help you to go out and find the house, negotiate the purchase of the house, inspect the home, and get to closing. So we got real estate attorneys that's on our team. We have real estate agents that's on our team. We have home inspectors that's on our team. I've got accountants, I've got lawyers, I got CPAs, I got tax advisors. What do you need to get over this hump, to get this house?
Right.
So, and then the final thing is, I say, hey, in class, I said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be real with you. Some of you are very religious, wonderful. I take nothing from that, but I want to tell you something. When you make the decision to make this leap to become a homeowner, when you make a decision to improve your well-being and improve your wealth, something is going to creep into your life to deviate, to take you off that path of getting that home. Something or someone is going to come into your life and throw a monkey wrench into your dream. Don't fall for the gag. Don't fall for it.
Right.
Okay. Recognize it for what it is. Okay. You want to call it the devil? Call it the devil. I don't care. Whatever you decide to label it, it is what it is.
Right.
Stay focused on your goal.
Yep. Gotta stay focused. Stay
focused on the goal and stop spending.
Stop spending. You hear that, Tiara? Yes, I hear it. I hear you. Yes.
You like eating out every day. You like those $8 coffee lattes.
And look, this is for the viewers. This is for the viewers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you. Okay.
But whenever I hear stop spending, I do kind of think about Target.
Yeah. Like, Target. Okay. Okay.
No, absolutely.
I thought we were talking about you for a second there.
No,
okay. Those lattes and
No, not me. No lattes. Yeah. I make coffee at home.
Okay, good. I was about to say, when did it become acceptable to spend $8 for a cup of coffee?
I make my coffee at home. So that is a tip for all the viewers. If you're looking to save, only treat yourself a couple of times a week, not every day. Okay, you should not go. Let Mr. Taylor tell you, stop spending 100%. And you know what? If you go through that home program, and anyone looking to reach a goal, I mean, the whole thing is that I read a meme, and I'm sure everybody's probably seen it, or a lot of people have seen it, and it said that, and somebody said it too, I'm sure, but it said that discipline is the highest form of self-care.
Yes.
And and that's a word, that's a word. It's kind of like anything you desire is on the other side of discipline, because that's what anything is going to require to achieve it. Whether it be opening a company, whether it be creating something new, whether it be becoming a homeowner, right? Becoming an investor, anything, a new job, new career path. All those things require something, whether it's just leveling up your skill set. Even to do that requires discipline to tell yourself. One of the best quotes, though, that I've ever heard. Now, this is the one right here.
Okay.
Mel Robbins. Are you familiar with Mel Robbins?
No, I'm not.
Oh, she is a powerful speaker.
And
I heard this several years ago, and I talked to my children about this because I love this, and it is that the only difference between being a child and being an adult is that when you are a child, your mother, your father, your teacher, your preacher tells you what to do. When you are an adult, you have to parent yourself.
Yep.
I mean, and that's it.
Yep.
Kind of like, when you're an adult, you've got to tell you to go to bed. You got to tell you to pick up that book. You got to tell you to save that money. You got to tell you to stop spending. And Mr. Taylor, we want to tell you we appreciate you coming on the show.
My pleasure.
This has been amazing. I appreciate
my pleasure.
So much of you sharing your background and what goes into the winning mindset of such a powerful program in and around, with the goal to reach every corner of Virginia by 2030. Virginia Housing and Community Development Corporation. As you guys know, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I know you might have heard a little tinky in the background with the HVAC. That's okay. We're in my beautiful kitchen today. You see it. Decorating is something I like to do. So everywhere we're going to sit is going to look good to you. Okay. I love it. Okay. However, I know you might have heard a little extra noise and things like that. The show has got to go on. Just like Mr. Taylor just said, no monkey ain't going to stop this show. Okay.
There you go. That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Taylor. All the contact information for VHCDC, all their programs, all the upcoming events here locally, and everything that you can participate in and or donate to this nonprofit organization to continue its work. It will all be down below. We thank you again, Mr. Taylor, Mr. James Taylor. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
And
we'll be
talking to you soon. To all of you, thank you so much for watching Flawless Living Made Simple. Take care. Bye.